Reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text number 2. ज्ञानं ते अहं सविज्ञानम् इदं वक्ष्यामि अशेषतः यज्ञात्वा नेह भूयोऽन्यत् ज्ञातव्यम् अवशिष्यते ज्ञानं ते अहं सविज्ञानम् इदं वक्ष्यामि अशेषतः यत् ज्ञात्वा नेह भूयो अन्यत् ज्ञातव्यम् अवशिष्यते ज्ञानं तेहं सविज्ञानम् इदं वक्ष्यामि अशेषतः यत् ज्ञात्वा नेह भूयो अन्यत् ज्ञातव्य अवशिष्यते. Anybody else would like to chant?
ज्ञानं ते अहं सविज्ञानम् इदं वक्ष्यामि अशेषतः
idam vakshyami asheshtha
यज्ञात्वा नेह भूयो अन्याज्
यज्ञनात्वा नेहाव्यो
ज्ञातव्यम् अवशिष्यते
ज्ञान
ज्ञानत्वा
अवशिष्यते।
ज्ञानं तेऽहं सविज्ञानम् इदं वक्ष्याम्यशेषतः यज्ञात्वा नेह भूयोऽन्यत् अज्ञात अवशिष्यते.
Let's hear some audio.
ध्यानं तेऽहं सविज्ञानम् इदं वक्ष्यामशेषतः यज्ञात्वा नेह भूयोऽन्यत् ज्ञातव्यम् अवशिष्यते.
Okay. Jnanam, phenomenal knowledge. Te, onto you. Aham, I. Saha, with. Vijnanam, numinous knowledge. Idam, this. Vakshyami, shall explain. Asheshataha, in full. Yat, which. Gyatva, knowing. Na, not. Iha, in this world. Bhuyaha, further. Anyat, anything more. Jhatavyam, knowable. Avavishyate, remains. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. Please repeat. I shall now declare
I shall now declare
unto you in full this knowledge,
in full
this knowledge,
both phenomenal and numinous.
both phenomenal and
numinous.
This being known,
this being known,
nothing further shall remain
nothing
further
remain
for you to know.
for you
to know.
Complete knowledge includes knowledge of the phenomenal world, the spirit behind it, and the source of both of them. This is transcendental knowledge. The Lord wants to explain the above-mentioned system of knowledge because Arjuna is Krishna's confidential devotee and friend. In the beginning of the 4th chapter, this explanation was given by the Lord, and it is again confirmed here. Complete knowledge can be achieved only by the devotee of the Lord, in disciplic succession directly from the Lord. Therefore, one should be intelligent enough to know the source of all knowledge, who is the cause of all causes, and the only object for meditation in all types of yoga practice. When the cause of all causes becomes known, then everything knowable becomes known, and nothing remains unknown. The Vedas, Mundaka Upanishad 1.1.3 says, Kasmin tu bhagavo vijnane sarvam idam vijnatam bhavat iti. Right. Om Ajnanatimindasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurmitan Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manabhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swamrupa Kadhamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Srijita Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavansya Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sagana Raghunathavitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Paryana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Sivishaka Vitamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namasute Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhana Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhayo Vaishnavebhayo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. ज्ञानम त्यहम स विज्ञानम इदम वक्ष्यामि अशेषताः यत् ज्ञात्वा नेह भूयो अन्यत् ज्ञातव्यम avavishate. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's a wonderful verse of the 7th chapter, second verse of Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna begins his instructions to Arjuna. In the second chapter, mostly where he describes quite in detail about Sankhya Yoga, the analytical study of the soul, right? And then we see a description of Karma Yoga in third chapter, fifth chapter again, some glimpse of Jnana Yoga in the fourth chapter, and then further describes about Dhyana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga in the sixth chapter, right? And then he culminates the sixth chapter in the 47th verse. Yoginam api sharvesham madagatantaratmanam saddhavan bhajate yomam samyuktatamamataha. Where did I described you all this? Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. Right. But the one who is saddhavan bhajate yomam, one who worships me with devotion, right, is the highest yogi. Right. Yogina api sharvesham is the topmost yogi. The topmost yogi is one who is worshipping Shraddhavan Bhajate Yomam. Right. In my opinion, Same Yukta Tamamata, in my mata, in my opinion, the one who worships me with full faith is the topmost yogi. Right. And um, then we see from 7th chapter to 12th chapter, the 6 chapters which are in the middle, we'll talk about Bhakti Yoga in quite detail, especially in 7th chapter. So many wonderful verses are there. 7th chapter, 9th chapter. Oh, wonderful verses which we can memorize and use it again and again. So and now, so he just says Sadhavan Bhajate Mam, right? In the final words of the 6th chapter, he says Sadhavan Bhajate Yomam Same Yukta Tamamataha. So then the question will come is, 1 minute, let me see. Oops. Yeah. So we see where Lord Krishna is mentioning to Arjuna about in the 6th chapter about this the topmost yoga system, right? But then how Shraddhavan Bhajate Yamam, how do we worship the Supreme Lord, right? How do we worship the Supreme Lord? Right. So then in this verse, especially in these 3 verses, Lord mentions about knowledge, right? That to, one needs to know me in full, right? In the previous verse also he mentions that one needs to know me in full, complete knowledge about me, right? And in this verse he further describes, I will now explain both phenomenal and numinous knowledge, right? Both phenomenal and numinous, what does it mean? Phenomenal is jnana, right? Jnana, the material elements, all these material elements, bhumi, apo, nala, vayu, kama, mana, buddhi, ye, bacha, that they are also variegated energies of the Supreme Lord, right? And beyond that is numinous, soul, right? The soul, beyond the material elements is the soul. And then the relationship between them, right, is vijnana, transcendental knowledge, numinous knowledge, right? From whom does this all originate, right? From whom all these elements originate, right? In Srimad Bhagavatam it says, Vadanti tattva tattvam yat jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwaneti sabdyate, right? Where Lord is mentioning about his all-pervasive aspect, Brahman, right? Through which, he pervades everywhere. He is present in each and every element. And beyond that is the localized aspect, Paramatma, right? Where he is situated within each and everybody's heart. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Suni Chaivaswa Pakecha Pandita Samadarshina. The Pandit with Samadarshina, with equal vision, sees that the soul is as Paramatma, the super soul is present in each and everybody's heart. Right. So he sees them with equal respect. A dog or a dog eater, a Brahmana or an outcast, he sees them with equal respect. Right? With equal respect. So, and then further is the Bhagwan conception of the Supreme Lord. Right? And the Lord here is explaining that. No, he is now going to explain all of that, right? The matter, the spirit, and the source of both. Right? And why is he explaining that to Arjuna? Why is Arjuna eligible? Because he is a devotee and a friend. Bhakto asime sakha cheti. In the 4th chapter, Lord is mentioning that I'm explaining this to you because Arjuna, you are bhakto asi, you are my devotee, and sakha, you are my friend. Right? And why is it devotee? Arjuna has surrendered to the Supreme Lord in the 2nd chapter. Karpanya dosa prahatta sabhava prichami dvam dharma samudha cheta yat shreyashyan nishitan bruitan me shishyate aham sadhimam tam prapanam. Before that verse, he was just friendly dealing with Lord Krishna. But in that particular verse, he says, oh, I'm completely confused about my duty. Now I'm a soul surrendered unto you. You guide me. Right? So he takes shelter of the Supreme Lord. So one who is in disciplic succession, he becomes qualified to get this transcendent knowledge about the Supreme Lord. Right? So, Srila Prabhupada describes uh, that the qualification to receive transcendent knowledge is it should be a devotee in bona fide sampradaya, right, disciplic succession, so that he can receive knowledge directly from the Lord. Right? Because the knowledge then is presented as it is. That's why Bhagavad Gita, when Srila Prabhupada translated it, he said Bhagavad Gita as it is, because he did not concoct, right? He did not alter any meaning. Manmana bhavamad bhakta mad yaji mam namaskuru. When Lord is saying that, other translators try to interpret that. Oh, manmana bhavamad bhakta. When Lord is saying that manmana bhavamad bhakta mad yaji mam namaskuru, that oh, worship me. One should not worship him, but that which is within him. As if they are thinking that, oh, Lord in physical body and that which is within the Lord is different. Right? Lord is directly saying, worship me. And they are saying, oh, worship not him, but that which is within him. That's what Prabhupada used to call that rascal done. They're misinterpreting. There's no need for interpretation there. And that's why Srila Prabhupada presented it as it is. Right? Without altering the meaning of the words. Right? And that's why that science is transferred as it is through disciplic succession. Right? Like there is an electric reservoir, right? From where the electric current is generated. The electric current from that electric reservoir flows through conduits, right? Wires. Right? And then there, those wires is held in place by all these poles, right? And then those wires are coming, they come all the way to your home. And then the electrician does some wiring and he fixes it in some form of a socket. And that socket, when you connect, right, when you connect the socket, the electric current, which is coming from the electric reservoir, is flowing, held by all these poles, and right at your home is all this wiring is done. Right. So similarly, when a devotee gets connected to a spiritual master who comes in a bona fide sampradaya, right? Who comes in a bona fide sampradaya. And I'll come back to what does it mean, bona fide sampradaya, right? Who are then just like these wires, no, where that bona fide sampradaya, that bona fide guru is further connected to his guru, who is further connected to his guru, right? Where these messages are being transferred from one disciple to another disciple to another disciple, right? In this disciplic succession from one guru, param guru to no means, yourself. Ultimately coming from Lord Krishna. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adhikavaya. He gives his knowledge to the Lord Brahma. So bona fide sampradaya, there are 4 bona fide sampradaya which are recognized as Vaishnava sampradaya, 4 bona fide Vaishnava sampradayas. Vaishnava means worshipper of Lord Vishnu. Vaishnava means worshipper of Lord Vishnu, right? So 4 Vaishnava sampradayas, worshippers of Lord Vishnu, how do they know about Lord Vishnu? Krishna? To these 4 authorized paths, right? To these 4 authorized paths. One path where Lord Krishna is giving this instruction to Lord Brahma, who is then passing it to Narad Muni, who is passing it to, here itself we see in Srimad Bhagavatam, Narad Muni is passing it down to Vyasdev, Vyasdev is passing it down to Sukadeva Goswami, right? And then it trickles down in disciplic succession, where bona fide Acharya, it comes Madhavacharya, right? Then it starts being called as Brahma Madhav Sampradaya. And in the same line from Madhavacharya, Madhavendra Puri, Ishwara Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? And then it comes down further. When it comes down, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu starts being called as Brahma Madhav Gaudiya Sampradaya. And Srila Prabhupada comes in that line, and then no, we have our spiritual master, our disciples of Srila Prabhupada, right? So that science is passed as it is from Brahma Madhav Gaudiya Sampradaya. Similarly, we see Rudra Sampradaya, where the science is passed to Lord Shiva or Lord Krishna, and then he passes it down in disciplic succession, where Vishnu Swami is a prominent Acharya in that Vaishnava Sampradaya. And then after that is Vallabhacharya, that is being now called as Vallabh Sampradaya. And we see, bona fide Vaishnava Sampradaya. Or Sri Sampradaya, Ramanujacharya is a prominent Acharya. We see so many South Indian temples, especially Sri Rangam, which is the seat of Ramanuja Sri Sampradaya. Right. Then we see Kumar Sampradaya, right? 4 Kumaras, and message is passed to them, and then we see Nimbarkacharya as a prominent Acharya, right? And that Kumar Sampradaya is spread. Right. So 4 bona fide, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, during his time, these 4 sampradayas were recognized. We see Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, he built a temple right in Mayapur where these 4 prominent acharyas, Vigraha is there, right? Madhavacharya, Vishnu Swami, Nimbarkacharya, and Ramanujacharya. On 4 sides of his temple, the 4 Vigrahas are there of these prominent acharyas. Because Mahaprabhu took two salient points from each of these sampradaya to completely give a precise, concise philosophy of Achinta Veda, Aveda Tattva, simultaneously one but different from the Lord. Simultaneously one but different from the Lord. We are qualitatively same as the Supreme Lord Satchidananda. Quantitatively, we are different. Lord is infinite, we are infinitesimal, and we will remain infinitesimal. We will never become infinite. The Mayavad philosophy is okay, right now we don't know our potency, so that's why we remain minute. But when we will know our potency, we will become infinite. That's the Mayavad philosophy. A drop of ocean never becomes a ocean. Drop remains a drop. Right. So that's the feature. Achinta Veda, Aveda Tattva. Simultaneously one, but different from the Lord. Quantitatively, we are different. We never become Lord. The part of the body, the hand, never becomes a whole. It always remains a part of the body. It does not become the entire body. Right. And the real position of the hand is to serve the whole, to serve the body. Right. Similarly, our real position is to serve the Supreme Lord. But then the Lord has these variegated energies. Right. Antarangi Sakti, Bahirangi Sakti, Tatastha Sakti, Bahirangi Sakti, which is the material world. Right. That is also Lord's energy. Sakti. Durga is also Lord's energy. And the manifestation of that is the material world. Then Antarangi Sakti, the Lord's internal energy, right, through which the Lord himself appears in his variegated forms and exhibits different pastimes through his internal energy. And Tadastha Sakti, which is the soul, which has a free will. Either I will take shelter of the Lord's internal energy or I will take shelter of the Lord's external energy. We have to take shelter either way. Either we prefer to remain covered by the Maya in illusion, or we uncover our real position as Jivera Swarupa hai Nitya Krishna Das. Right? Jivera Swarupa hai Nitya Krishna Das, that I am ultimately, my real Swarup is Nitya Krishna Das. Eternally I am a servant of the Lord. Because we forget that position, we think that we are the enjoyer. The Lord says, okay, try it out. And we take birth in this material world to try out. And for so many lifetimes we try. Not so many lifetimes we try. We fail in our pursuits, but again we think, okay, one day we'll succeed. Right. And we come under this avaratmika sakti, means that covering potency of this material world, Mahamaya, Antarangi Sakti of the Supreme Lord. Right? And we think ourselves to be the enjoyer. So the Lord here is saying that, I will give you full knowledge of the phenomenal, right? This material world and the numinous or the spiritual world, and the connection between the two. And we see later on in the 10th chapter, the Lord, when he talks about his vibhuti, he talks about it. I am the source of the material and spiritual world both. The material world also comes from me, the spiritual world also comes from me. I am the source of that. Ishvara Paramakrishna Sachidananda Vigraha. Anadi Adi Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. Right. That's the complete knowledge about the Supreme Lord. Right? He is the cause of all causes. Janma Karma Chame Devyam Evam Yavati Tattvataha. When we understand about his transcendental appearance and his activities, one does not even take birth again in this material world. Right? That's the importance. That because once we know him, there is nothing else to be known. Right? Once we know him, there's nothing else to be known. And that's why the rarity of knowing him is described in the third verse. Manushyanam sahasreshu kashidhatati saddhe. Out of thousands of people, one person endeavor for perfection. And out of thousands of people who are endeavoring for perfection, hardly one person knows me in truth. Being born in India, my time, so Krishna, we know. We know him, we have known him. But that's superficial. Here, the Lord is saying, out of thousands of people, one who is endeavoring for perfection, hardly one person knows me in truth. Right? Hardly one person knows me in truth. And that's that. So, by our blunt material senses, we won't be able to know about the Supreme Lord. Right? Okay, I'll leave this open for question answers so that we can have more discussions and we can have more further nectar. Okay. Does anybody have any questions or some realizations which they'd like to share? Such a wonderful topic about knowledge, about the Supreme Lord, which the Lord himself is revealing here. And ultimately, now, understanding is because Lord is revealing, because he is accepting the position as a guru. Right? Okay. Go ahead. If anybody has any questions or discussions. Haribol. I know we have had long days during the week from Janmashtami. I hope people are not going to sleep. Haribol.
Haribol, Hare
Ah,
Krishna.
any questions, discussions?
Prabhuji, I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Prabhuji, it's not related to shloka. Understanding I want to add. So, Prabhuji, my parents, they're not feeling well and they're not in Krishna conscious. They pray to demigods. So, my father is saying, when I told him, why don't you do one mala? So, he's saying, no, I don't want to do mala. Why don't you do mala on my behalf? So, Prabhuji, what I'm trying to understand is, can we do mala on our parents' behalf? They help it. They don't want to do. Can we do for them?
They don't want to do, can we do for them? Okay. Can you eat for them?
Sorry, Prabhuji?
Can you eat for them?
No, I cannot eat. Definitely cannot.
Yeah, so similarly, when you cannot eat for them, you cannot do mala for them.
That's what I also had understanding, but I don't want to take my own opinion.
Yeah.
But I was also
The
same
only
opinion.
thing,
But,
the only thing which you can do, right, is become such a wonderful devotee, right, that by your devotional service, 14 generations before you and 14 generations after you will be delivered. Right. Just like Prahlad Maharaj is asked for a boon. He said, I don't want any boon for me. But no, means my father, he performed so many heinous activities against you. Please forgive him. And Lord Nrsingadev is showing Prahlad Maharaj that, oh, your father is just ascending to the spiritual world because of your devotional service. So Putra, right? What is the meaning of Putra? Putra is son, but what does it actually mean? It is made of two words, Puna and Traya. Puna is the name of a Hellis planet. So one who delivers his father, his ancestors, Trayati, from this hellish planet, Punaha, is called Putra. Right. So that you can do. But you cannot chant for them. Oh, now I will perform my mala, but I will also perform your mala. Not chant for them. They have to perform their own devotional service, but by your devotional service, they'll get security. We can, yes, the sun, just like, we perform rites for our ancestors. So because we perform rites for our ancestors, wherever they are, they'll get pious credit in the bank balance. That you can do. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Guru.
And later on in this 7th chapter itself, we'll see about Kamasya Tirthagana Papadant Anya Devata. You can show them that particular verse. Right? Where Lord Krishna is mentioning Nitagyana, people of less intelligence, who worship the demigods. Right? You have to eat food. Right? One way is, I take my food and I eat directly here. Right? But if you don't want to go direct process, the indirect process is like this, which is so difficult. Right? And almost impossible. Right? That's like worshipping the demigods. You want to meet the prime minister. Right? But you want to meet the prime minister and you now just are satisfied with the prime minister's secretary. What is the use? You'll go on bribing him and think him himself as a prime minister. Right? Then you will not get any connection with the prime minister. Right? If you bribe him that, through you I want the Supreme Lord, that's different. But you start considering him himself as a prime minister, right? He's just a secretary, but you start considering himself as a prime minister. Right? That right? That itself is an offense to the prime minister. Isn't that an offense to the prime minister? I consider the secretary of Modi as Modi. Oh, he is Narendra Modi. And Narendra Modi comes, he says, oh, I don't know him, but I just know the secretary. Right? So that's an insult. Similarly, the demigods, they are devotees of the Lord. Right? They are put in position by the Lord. And they are completely worshipping the Supreme Lord. Just like we talked about these 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas. Lord is giving instruction to Lord Shiva, is being called as Shiva Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya. Lord is giving instruction to Lord Brahma, is being called as Brahma Sampradaya. Brahma is passing it down to Narad Muni. Right? And disciplic succession starts. But a disciplic succession starts, and now I consider, oh, no. Lord Brahma himself is the Supreme Lord. Forget about Krishna. Even Lord Brahma will not like it. Right? Even a bona fide Acharya, if you start, he should be given same respect as the God. Right? We chant that in Guru Vastakam prayers. Saksad Daritvena Samassa Sastri Yukta Tata Bhav Yateva Sadbhi. We chant every day in Guru Vastakam prayers. He should be given the same respect as the Supreme Lord, but not that he should be considered as the Supreme Lord. Srila Prabhupada, there's a past time where Srila Prabhupada had gone to Japan for talking to this company, Dai Nippon, about publication of Bhagavad Gita. And when he went there, here some devotees, some of his disciples started spreading that, oh, do you know, you don't know about this, but no, our spiritual master is the Supreme Lord himself. And it started being spread, and the word even reached Srila Prabhupada that this is what is going on. And Srila Prabhupada sent a telegram to one of his disciples that now I have heard about this, that certain disciples are spreading this. Till I come there, you suspend those disciples. I know, send the telegram. That was suspend those disciples on the moment. They were senior disciples, sannyasis. But Srila Prabhupada sent, suspend those disciples. Right. Not that, somebody starts considering the person as a Lord, and the person will say, oh, I don't consider myself as Lord, but they are telling me that I am Lord, so what can I do? What can I do? I might be Lord. Because if all my followers are considering me as the Lord, I might be Lord. And then he starts considering himself as Lord. Bhagwan this and Bhagwan that. Right? Without knowing the meaning of Bhagavan. Right? Without knowing the meaning of Bhagavan. Right? So that's the fallacy in that. Is that all right, Bhima Prabhu?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Hari.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, I want a little bit.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Like just like you said, Bahirangi. I don't know if I'm saying it all right or no. And then there's
Bahirangi.
one Bahirangi. And then one is the Haladini, like the pleasure potency, right? Srimati
No, that's
Radharani.
different. This
That's
is in
what I
general.
want. Yeah, that's what I want the clarification
Okay.
on, like
Okay.
how many energies and like how that is different.
Okay.
Like because you talk about the energies of the Lord, we hear all the time,
Yeah.
and I'm a little confused
Okay.
about. Okay, thank
So
you.
these
Prabhuji.
three main categories are there. Bahirangi means external energy, Antarangi means internal energy, and Tatastha, right, which is marginal energy.
Yeah, now
Right.
I remember. Okay, yeah,
Right.
okay. Okay.
Now this Antarangi Sakti, right, Antarangi or internal energy is further classified into three: Sandhini, Samvit, and Ladhini. Right, you talked about Ladhini. So it's one classification of internal energy. So that Shakti, Ladhini Shakti, which is an internal energy classification, gives the pleasure, is the pleasure potency of the Supreme Lord. Right. Similarly, we have Samvit, which is the existential potency or knowledge potency of the Supreme Lord, and then Sandhini is the existential potency of the Supreme Lord. Right. So that's the classification. All that three is the Sat Chit Ananda, right? Sat means eternality, Chit means knowledge, and Ananda means bliss. There are three. That's the internal energy of the Supreme Lord. Ladini, Samvit, and Sandhini. Is that all right, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes. And where can I read about this more?
It's there in Chaitanya Chaitamrita, it is there in Bhagavatam. I can send you references of that.
Okay, Prabhuji. Yes, send me. I would like to read
Okay.
more. Thank you, Prabhuji. Haribo.
Any other discussion?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanat Pranam. All glories to Shri Prabhupada.
Then pranam.
Prabhuji, this is a clarification mostly related on the words that we are looking today.
Yeah.
It says that this complete knowledge can be achieved only by the devotee of the Lord in disciplic succession directly from the Lord.
Yeah.
So, does that mean that one who is practicing as a sadhaka has to have a spiritual master in the disciplic succession and they need to get initiated?
That is right.
So indirectly, this statement means that only, correct?
Yes. Ultimately, to become a devotee, just like to get the electricity, we have to plug the plug into the socket. We may get abhas of that electricity without plugging the plug into the socket. But the real charge will come when the plug is connected to the socket.
Mhm.
Similarly, the real charge, we might get abhas, okay, we are going to temple, we are in contact with devotees, so we get that flavor. But the real connection starts when the real charge, electrification starts when you are connected in disciplic succession. Where then the guru disciplines the disciple. That's why it is called diksha. Diksha means one diksha, diksheti, diksha. Where guru disciplines the disciple. It's not the end, it's the beginning of the spiritual process. Initiation is not the end of spiritual process, it's the beginning of spiritual process. Like when you enter the college, before entering the college, you might study about the college.
Mhm.
You might do some prerequisites also. Right. But the real credit starts flowing in the college when you get connected into the college. Is that all right, Mother?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, thank you for clarifying.
Okay. Shimesha Prabhu. We wait for a guidance.
Jai. So much, Prabhuji, for a wonderful class, wonderful discussion. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, the devotees. So we are getting into the weekend. Sunday morning is Holiness Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj is speaking. 9 o'clock to 10:30. So please join. Yeah, other services we'll mention. We were planning some distribution outside. We'll confirm the venue about tomorrow or Sunday. We'll send out the details. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. There is nothing else. Let's conclude. Let's pay our obeisance to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. Vancha kalpatarubhasya कृपा सिंधु एव च विदानां पावनेभ्यो
Pavanebhyo
वैष्णवेभ्यो
Vaishnavebhyo Namo
वैष्णव वृंद की
Vrinda
जय।
ki jai.
विराज श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय।
Jai.
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Ki
गौर
jai.
वैष्णव वृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे
Hari Hari Bol.
जय।
Madhupati Prabhu, please send me, remember to send me the references.
Yeah, I will send it to Nityam Bhagavata Seva itself. Is that all right?
Okay, Prabhuji. Yes, sure. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you,
Thank you
Madhupati.
for the wonderful class. Thank you, Hari
Hare
Krishna.